Hey guys, welcome to another episode here of the Talkin' Shed podcast. And today it is Cody and myself up here in the recording studio. Cody, how's it going?
Good. Just everybody getting over the sickness and all the heebs. So, yeah.
We had some stuff going through us there last week. It started started whenever we were on that Florida trip.
Yep.
For me, anyways. And then we came home and kind of ran through everyone. We had a bunch of shop guys out, and you kind of still have it.
Your dad.
Yeah.
Yep.
My wife, my kids.
Yep.
Everyone got it.
So
So,
thankfully, not my wife and my kids didn't get it. Thankfully. So,
yep, that's good. Well, hopefully we can steer clear of that stuff. But man, it was going around. I talked to so many people who had some type of a head cold or flu there over the last couple weeks. So
Yeah.
hopefully we're we're through it and on the other side. Because man, I tell you, for me, it started the morning that we did that cover crop cedar install, and I barely made it through that install. I started to ache really bad. It just hurt to move.
Yeah.
And then I got it in my eyes, and what I mean by that is my eyes were sore. Like it hurt to even move my eyes. And I was just real weak, real tired. And it wasn't like a flu, like a stomach deal. It was just head and chest. And that was a long 12.5-hour trip home like that. So,
Yeah.
but speaking of the Florida trip, let's jump right into that.
Yeah.
I uploaded a YouTube video about it the other day. So I had it goes back to like 3 years ago. We installed a cedar in Georgia, South Georgia, and he knew a dairy in Florida, Alliance Dairy, and Tom and them down there at Alliance got a hold of me and said, "Hey, I want what you installed in Georgia." Said, "Okay." So at the time, Zach Meyer was a shop guy with us that me and him went down there and installed that cedar at Alliance. And then about a month ago, White Oak Dairy, who farms close to Alliance, called and said, "Hey, I talked to Tom at Alliance and I want what Tom has." I said, "Okay, we can do that." And so they had a sunflower VT. We had never installed on a sunflower VT. So we went and found one here in Ohio, measured it up for brackets, and got the brackets made.
It was different.
Yeah,
It was different.
yeah, we had to set that cedar sideways on there, kind of like we do the 30-foot crouse.
Yep. It was pretty tight.
It was a tight fit. Yeah, I don't think you could fit your finger on either side between the wings and the cedar hopper. I mean, it was that close. So, yeah, we drove down there. It was 12.5 hours down, and
It really wasn't a terrible drive.
oh
to
no,
be
I mean,
honest. I mean,
we were on 75, 75 for 95% of the time.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah, we didn't choose to go through Cincinnati at the right time, but I feel like during the week there's never a good time to get through Cincinnati. So
yeah,
it kind of was what it was there, and basically we headed out Monday afternoon, probably around 2:00, and headed down there and got just north of Atlanta and stayed north of Atlanta in a hotel, Holiday Inn. Adam got his overnight stay points. I don't know what is that. What you call it?
IHG rewards.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I'm a
IHG
Holiday
rewards.
Inn fan.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, they're consistent. I think they're pretty extremely fair priced. Honestly, stuff like breakfast and stuff doesn't really appeal to me at hotels just because I'm usually not there when their breakfast
We're
opens.
usually up before they even start. So.
Yeah. We're usually I'm usually out of the hotel before they even serve breakfast. So, you know, there's some nicer hotels with some better breakfast, but I'm usually on the road and I'll go grab some fuel and grab a Dunkin' Donut coffee and away we go. But yeah, it was a great stay. And then we got down there to White Oak, I don't know, probably 11:30 that day.
Yeah, 11:30, something like that.
Yep, and we got her wrapped up, and we were out of there by probably 5:30. It took
5:30,
us
6 o'clock.
took us a little longer than I had hoped. We ran into a couple hiccups, but they were pretty minor, and got her plugged into their tractor and ran through the ISO and ran them through how to calibrate and how to run the seeder. So
Yeah.
their main goal there is to plant sorghum behind chopped corn, and the sorghum, they're going to bag it and they feed it. Down there, they irrigate very heavily because the water table's so shallow. So they can grow so many different crops in a year that, their feed for cows is extremely abundant.
Well, how many cows did they say they had? Didn't they say they had like 1,900?
1,900 cows, and they milked them 3 times a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's a plethora of cows.
Yeah, they had 4 semi-tankers backed up to the milk house there, pumping milk into them.
It's so different down there too. I mean, they had a John Deere R Series tractor that was just hooked up to a mixer, and it looked like it was a 30-year-old tractor.
Yeah.
I mean, the sun just takes a whooping on.
It does. Oh yeah.
On that stuff, but I mean, their barns are way different than ours. I mean, they've all got to be open because it's so hot down there.
Yeah. The barns are like a roof and like no sides at all.
It's just like a pole barn with no sides.
Yeah.
Is essentially what it is. But it was neat. They've got all these big fans running through there, and it was pretty cool to see. And
Yeah.
the soil down there was a lot different too. I mean, you can about imagine it. I mean, it was almost straight sand.
It's sand.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's definitely a totally different ball game, but they make it work. I mean, it's you would never dream that you would drive down there and find that many cattle or that many dairies.
Well, doesn't Florida have the most cattle in the United States?
Yes, they do. So, and I don't know, I'm sure there's many reasons, but just the abundance of food, because around here you're growing 1 season of corn. Down there under pivots, a lot of them will grow 2 crops of corn, and so then imagine how many other crops you can grow.
Right.
Whether it's alfalfa or this sorghum.
Triticale.
Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
some triticale maybe with that cedar.
Yeah. So I mean, your tonnage of feed is pretty available versus back home here. So it's makes a lot of sense.
And they were saying managing pivots is a lot different because like in the springtime it's so hot to where all that stuff just like freezes up. So they've actually got to carry all of the stuff out to the field, because if you try to drive out there, you'll just sink because that sand's just so soft.
Yeah. It's crazy. Different world, but man, it's fun, the adventures that the Cedar trips get to take you on. I've been fortunate to be, Missouri, the Dakotas, Georgia, Florida, Illinois, Wisconsin, and you learn something new about the landscape and the farmers on every trip, and it's pretty neat to see, and you meet people that you'll know forever. I mean, those guys will call me on the phone and we'll talk like we know each other, and so it's fun. And when we were down there, a gentleman from like the Soil and Water was there, and some other farmers showed up, and they were saying that there's going to be some funding available to help with this kind of thing. So he was talking like there would be more and more of these coming down the pipe for us to go down to Florida and install. So I'm excited to see what the future holds there, and see what kind of potential there is down there.
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely a fun trip. And whenever Adam says that he doesn't feel good, he truly means it.
It was bad. It was bad. We got done with that install, and all day I was just like, let's just get through this install is what I just kept telling myself. And I told Cody as soon as we were done, I said, I don't know if I'm going to make it. And he drove for quite a bit of the way home, and I was feeling pretty rough. It was a great trip. Other than that really spoiled spoiled it a little bit for me, but that's all right. I came home and heck, I was down for a couple more days yet, but I hate getting sick, but it is amazing how much better you feel for the week after. You feel so much better after you've went down through that slump and get back up over the hill and on the other side. You're like, man, now I feel good. This is what it's like to feel good. So we're back. We're back in action.
Yeah.
Ready for the next one.
Yep.
So
yeah. So that kind of wraps up the Florida trip for the most part. We got back on Wednesday at like 6:30. 6:30.
Yeah, and I actually didn't even make it back to work until Monday. I was down Thursday. I thought I'd be able to make it in Friday, but it hurt to even move. Like all day Thursday, I don't know if I left my one spot in the house.
Really?
Yeah. Like I'm pretty sure. Well, yeah, because Lena was sick, our daughter, and I had her Wednesday night. I mean, I didn't have her, but I told my wife, hey, I was just gone for a couple days. I'll take care of waking up with Lena tonight. Well, Lena was so bad that you couldn't even put her down. So she slept with me out on the chair in the living room. And so when I got home Wednesday night, that's where I went, was the chair. And I stayed there with Lena, and I'm here to tell you, I didn't get out of that chair until Thursday evening.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't move. Yeah.
Wowzers.
It was crazy. So, but
dang.
Yeah, that was down and out. And
That's part of it, though. It is what it is. But
yep, it's been a while since I've been down like that.
I was gonna say,
I can remember one other time. It was before I was even married. I was at my in-laws, and I stayed. I slept in another room for like 24 hours. I didn't leave it. I felt so bad, but that was stomach.
Yeah.
So, but we're back, and when we were gone, we actually shifted the shop guys like the week before we left to coming in early and taking a half-hour lunch because we had so many Salford tools to build.
Yep.
You had plenty. I had a 24-footer. We had a couple retailed cultivators coming in. Seth sold a 41-foot 1200 Salford. And so the guys in the shop were just getting it when we were gone.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many tools they built in the last 2 weeks. Probably
I bet it was
6 or 8.
Yeah, I bet it's probably close to that. They just finished up a 1231 today for me. And yeah, we got back and I showed up on Thursday. I was like, geez, I'm criminy. I was like, you guys are done. Well, because they were working on the stock 5200 that we had here. And I'm like, what in the world? So yeah, they boogied through them.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So
yeah, they've got that down. We've got 3 guys in there now building Salfords in the shop, and they do a great job. We're starting to build some stock units, getting our stock 5200, the 25-footer built, and so shop's been busy. They did a couple tender trailers in the last couple weeks.
Yep.
They did a Demco, and then they did that Neville built trailer that we had here.
That we threw some Enduraplast tanks on. They're not quite done with that thing, but it's awfully close.
Yeah. Yeah, so tune into the YouTube channel to see some videos on those tender trailers. I've got some videos coming on just kind of some details on how we set those up. I like to do a video on every trailer just because each one's different.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and then probably some pretty big news for us is over here in our warehouse. We've been working on remodeling our warehouse here at the new facility for like 8 months, I swear.
It's been a while.
But they had to do a lot to it. They came in, they repainted the inside.
Gutted it.
Yeah, gutted it. There was some concrete work to be done. They insulated the ceiling, put a new roof on it, put windows in, just completely went through it, tore a bunch of garage doors out. Well, they came, today's Wednesday, they came Monday, I think it was, and installed racking in there.
Yep.
So like the green and orange storage racking that you would put pallets up on. We've got rows and rows of that in there now. We've got the heaters in there. It's starting to really take shape. Austin, our parts and warehouse manager, he's getting pretty itchy to move in there.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
Our current warehouse is not heated.
No.
And it's December 20th, I think, today. So you can imagine how chilly that place gets in the winter.
Yes.
So
it gets a little cold.
It gets extremely cold to sit in there and count parts and touch a bunch of cold metal all day. So we're excited to have a large enough warehouse to put the parts in to where they're clean and organized and where they belong.
Right.
That's going to be a big deal.
For sure.
Cannot wait.
It's definitely been a long time coming. I know he's just itching at the bit for it, but I was kind of in there I was in there yesterday, and I'm like, man, it's going to be a little tight with the forklift. He's going to have a small forklift to get in there.
I think he's going to use like that walk behind deal quite a bit.
Yeah.
I would think. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would be using for sure.
Yeah, otherwise he might be on one of them videos where you see all the racks just tumble for like 10 rows.
Yeah.
We might have that happen. Yeah. So definitely some one-way streets in there.
For sure.
But
for sure. So
yeah. So that's the big news that here at the new location. Cody, yesterday I saw a giant green tractor get loaded up on a trailer. You and Dad were involved.
What in the
heck?
I wouldn't necessarily say that it was a giant tractor.
It was a good sized tractor.
Yeah, it was a good sized tractor for sure.
What went down there?
So there's a guy in Angola, Indiana. He bought our fourth tractor that we've ever sold.
Yep.
So he bought her brand new. Just a nice 80 horse tractor with a cab on it and a loader, and tell you what, it was pretty nice to turn that thing. It was quick. We got that thing last week on Thursday.
Yep.
I unloaded it on Thursday, and guy showed up here yesterday and brought her home. So
yep.
Yeah, it was that size tractor, on that size tractor, no DEF. So that makes for a really nice tractor for a guy to do a lot of smaller implement type deal stuff with. So
what do you think it is about that size tractor with the Deutz that makes them so dang popular? I mean, guys are just fighting over that 5080.
I feel like that it's the frame size of it. It's just so much larger than the competition. Your axle weight and your just frame weight is, you've got more lifting capacity. You've just got a higher standard of tractor there, I think, and it's priced really right too.
Yeah.
So I think comparatively across the board, you sit one beside each other and you're like, well, why would I buy that one? This one's got bigger tires, bigger axles, bigger framework. Why wouldn't I?
More hydraulics.
More hydraulics, yeah. It had 3 hydraulic outlets. That one, you have the ability to get up out of the seat and let the PTO run.
Okay.
It has a self-leveling bucket on it as well. Third function on that loader. Heat, Bluetooth stereo in it, the whole 9 yards. So I mean, it's pretty well decked to the moon, and it's priced accordingly.
Yeah.
To really compete with the other brands.
Yeah. So, to me, it looks like a 100+ horse tractor. You look at it.
Yeah.
It really does. Now, what's something like that range at? Price-wise for a cab 5080 with a stall loader, 4-wheel drive, 3 hydraulic remotes.
You're probably talking somewhere around that 58 to 60 range, depending on options. Whether you get the a set of forks and a spear with it, or stuff like that, and they've got different shuttle options for it as well. So
I see.
But no, that's a awfully nice tractor for what it is for the price, for sure. So.
Yeah, especially you want, especially no DEF. I mean, that's impressive. Just a nice little workhorse tractor. Heck, an 80 horse tractor, you could pull a 6-row planter easily. You could spray with it. You could feed cows, pick up a round bale. With 3 hydraulic functions, there's not much that you can't do.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a John Deere 7130. I forget how many horsepower that thing is, but I think it only has 2 remotes.
Yeah. I want to say that thing's like
100.
I think so. I want to say it's right around 100. That one has brakes all the way around it too.
Okay.
So it's got disc brakes all the way around the whole tractor, front wheel assist since it does have a loader. So it's got 4-wheel drive, the whole 9 yards. So.
Dang. Yeah, that's a sweet rig.
Oh yeah.
I could see why those things are so popular.
Yeah, I think you might have to trade in your Kubota.
I would love to. Yeah, I've got an MX 5400 with a backhoe on it, and I just really love that backhoe feature.
Yeah. We need to come up with some way on how to get that on that thing. We'd be in it.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. But yeah, I don't know. Someday, I'd like to be able to pull the 6-row planter. And I don't know if my 5400 could do it, but spraying, it would definitely be nice to have a cab tractor.
Oh, definitely.
And that 5080 it'd be the berries.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. With because I only have 1 remote on my 5400 right now, so
yeah,
running a planter with that would be pretty tough.
Having 3 on that rig would be just perfect.
Oh yeah, I'd be able to have Delta Force on a little 6-row. For that 60 acres that you farm. There's 55.
Oh, okay.
And
sorry.
if you plant a half rate each time, you get to go over it twice, which means I farm 110 acres.
Right. Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
That's how you got to do it.
Right. Why don't you just plant it at a third of the rate and just run over it 3 times?
Then that just takes too long.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Twice is just right on the money. It's perfect.
Right. Okay. All right.
Perfect.
Well, hey, whatever. It works. No,
yeah.
we have too much fun doing that.
Oh yeah,
So.
yeah. That's why we have to drive over everything twice.
Right.
Well, the real reason is the second time we got to cover all of Cody's skips from the first time when he's driving.
That you usually run the first pass.
We have to overlap.
Don't pointing fingers at me. It wasn't my fault.
No, it's fun. So, yeah. What else is going on? You did a Salford deal on Friday. Mm-hmm. Thursday,
yeah. So basically, I had a guy. He owned a 1231 and a 570 30-footer.
Yep.
So basically, he was looking to upgrade his 570. It was in the cards for him here before the end of the year, and he's like, "Well, I want to trade that." And I go, "Okay, well, he's pushed a lot of guys our way, and he's done a lot of good for us. He actually bought that 570 off of us.
Yep.
Back in the day. That thing it's a very nice 570. So we came to a trade agreement on a new 1231.
Yep.
So your dad's actually hauling that thing down there today, and then he's picking up the 570, bringing it back here, and then so after I got the deal done there on Thursday, I had a gentleman interested in his trade already. I called him up, said, "Hey, I got it traded. Let's go look at it." So we went down there, looked at it, and sold his trade the same day.
Nice.
So yeah, that's
awesome.
Yeah, it was a quick key turnaround deal. So that's
the kind of stuff that doesn't happen all the time.
No, it doesn't.
And it's fun when it does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I was kind of upset that it happened because you weren't around. You were sick, and I was like,
yeah.
It's just a lot of fun to. Him and I always tell our deals with each other and share them and whatnot, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, yeah, I can tell you how sick I was. I got that text and I looked at it and I couldn't even. I may have smiled a little bit, but I couldn't. I got that. You texted me and said that you got that deal, and man, I was still out of it. So, but yeah, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. That is fun. And how long have you been working on that used one?
Oh,
That deal started 3 years ago.
Yeah. Whenever I first started here, he rented a 570, and I've probably priced him 10 tools. I bet.
Yep.
Just
and
between used ones and new ones, I bet I've priced him 10 tools. I get
about every fall he would kind of demo one and try something,
Mm-hmm.
and you know when that when that stuff happens, you could easily say, oh, this is maybe a waste of time, or this isn't going to happen, or it's going to take too long. But if you just stick with it, look what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember the very first tool he rented. You and I had to go down there because
we had to fix it.
a bearing went out on the undercarriage, one of the tires, and he called, and said, hey, bearing's out. So you and I went down there, got it all fixed up for him, and you think, oh geez, he's never going to buy this one, and he didn't, but he rented it for a couple hundred acres maybe, and that generates a little bit of revenue, and so the next year goes by, and you start to question, and then he started talking more serious here.
Yeah.
I could tell the last couple months maybe, but he was particular. He wanted a pretty nice one.
Yeah.
And we didn't have one.
No.
We didn't have that cherry 570 that he was after.
We had one. We had one before this one, and you turned and sold it to Oklahoma. It wasn't Oklahoma. It was somewhere out there though.
Yeah, Missouri.
Yeah, and it was very, very nice too. And he was like, "Man, I should have just pulled the trigger and bought that one." I'm like, "Yeah, those things." Whenever I called you that day, I was pretty serious on you getting up here and looking at it, but I know how things go. It's hard to get away for a minute, especially whenever it's. I think it's just him and then his brother-in-law that do it, and so is kind of difficult for him to get away. But we had some time here, and he was able to get over there and look at that, and we gotta put some new blades on that thing, and then it's heading back down there. Hopefully here yet today, maybe.
Sweet.
So
sweet. Well, good. Yeah, I sold some Yetter Magnums yesterday. A long-time user of Yetter Magnums. They've had them since, oh man, I don't know how long, but I can tell you this. Probably 8 years ago, Worley came out from Illinois. Jeff Worley, our Yetter rep. And I said, Jeff, we're going to load up our show trailer with displays, and we're going to go drive around to these farms, and we're going to take the farm show to them, and we're going to open up this trailer, and we're just going to show them what Yetter has to offer. We had a Devastator in there. We had the row cleaner stand. It was when the new 10,000 Magnum was just coming out. It wasn't even technically released yet, but we had one in the trailer. Well, we went down to these guys for that trip. We went down around the Columbus region and all that way, and it's been a long time ago. But anyway, they had old style 2987 Magnums, and they're just going to take them off the bar and put new 10,000s on that bar.
nice.
So for anhydrous, Southwest Ohio is pretty big on anhydrous, especially pre-plant, and so yeah, we got to deliver those here after the first of the year, and so yeah, that'll be a nice change for them to get up into that new 10,000 Magnum.
Anhydrous has been really
surprisingly active lately.
Like it just all of a sudden flip of the switch.
But it's not like liquid though, where you've got a guy wanting to trade in a liquid bar on an anhydrous.
Right.
It's an existing anhydrous user,
Right.
just wanting to upgrade. But whereas on the liquid side, you're seeing a lot of anhydrous users trade into the liquid side.
For sure. Yeah, we your dad and I sold a 15-row bar here the other day. I've got another guy that's interested in a 17-row Magnum bar, working on getting a quote to him on that. Just a lot of anhydrous here, just all spur of the moment.
It has, yeah, and then also spreaders.
Yeah,
Spreaders have just kind of given us a little uptick here. Now, we haven't sold quite as many as I would have liked to, given the number of phone calls, but we're still working on it. I mean, I had 2 different guys yesterday on that 20-foot Magna spread. Seth is going down to Portsmouth, Ohio today to try and wrap up that 14-foot Magna.
Yeah.
That used one out there. So yeah, we'll see. Last year, the spreader calls were a lot earlier. Yeah, I feel like it was early November. But maybe it was because of a little delayed harvest, so.
Yeah, I mean, you think about last year, they had, I want to say it was like, I think a farmer told you and I one time that he had like 28 full working days of harvest last year, I want to say.
Yeah.
So, that really takes a toll.
Oh, yeah.
Guys would be able to work 3 days and then they'd have to quit for 2 and then work 3 days and quit for 2. So it was just a lot more sporadic this year. And I think you're right. I think it just was delayed a little bit. And
yeah. Yep. So that's what's going on. A lot of stuff cruising, and Cody and I are kind of trying to plan out our next coyote trip here, maybe this Friday. We're going to try and go bow hunt in the evening, and and then as soon as it gets dark, go out and try and call in some coyotes. So
yeah,
that'd be fun.
Yeah.
We've gun season has came and went here in Ohio. The first season, and then the second season was this past weekend, and Cody's on the board with 2, but I'm scoreless, and we'll see. There's still a couple months left. We got all of December, all of January, and half of February. So time.
We've got muzzleloader left yet.
Yeah,
but you're going to be on vacation, so
Yep.
I guess I'm gonna have to pull through again.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. But, well, I think that's all I've got for today. What about you, Cody?
Yeah, that's pretty much about it. I forgot. The guys did go and do a planer install here this last week.
Oh, yeah, when we were gone?
Yep. Well, they went it had been Thursday, the day you were sick.
Okay.
And the day that I got those Salford deals.
What'd they do on that planer?
So, basically what they did, he was wanting to variable rate his fertilizer on his 2x2. So he had the standard John Deere openers. It was on John Deere, I think 1770, 1775, one of those 2 models of planers. And we put a hydraulic pump on it, John Deere rate controller, 3-section valves.
Okay.
The whole 9 yards there.
What did he have before? Ground drive?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he was very specific to where he only could run consistently 1 rate.
Okay.
So he had his agronomist do some maps for him.
Yep.
And he's going to upload those maps in for him, and or his prescriptions, I should say. That's the word I was looking for.
Yep.
And he's going to variable rate his 2x2 fertilizer whenever he plants.
Okay.
And then while they were down there, they measured his McFarland Insight to potentially put a 6056 on there.
Oh, okay.
So,
and where was this at?
So it would be just west of London, Ohio.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So I went down there. I sold this thing back in like July. They had a Cargill carbon unit meeting. I can't think of the terminology of what that is, but Cargill had a carbon credit meeting that they wanted to basically, if you're going to be applying cover crops, stuff like that. It was something good that we should do, and July is not a very busy time for us, so that was a good time for us to go down there. The guy's farm that we were actually at, he was hosting it. That was the gentleman that we sold the planer deal to. So we did the planer install and stuff. Brent and Elliot did that 1-day deal, just swapped that out. And then they also swapped out, he had a John Blue deal that was real similar to like a Benko.
Okay, yeah.
he had a lot of inconsistency with it, so he just switched up, basically just upgraded to a newer unit. So we swapped him out on that, and then we measured his insight to see if a 6056 would work, and Brent said it would be a lot like what that Sunflower was.
Pretty tight.
Pretty tight. So those insights kind of fold up and kind of make a triangle up at the top.
Yeah.
So they fold really, really tight. So if we're able to set the cedar down low enough, I think we'll be able to get it on there. But
Yeah.
he doesn't like the idea of a 4056 because it doesn't hold enough capacity. So if we were able to get him up into that quote unquote 3,000 pound range, roughly,
Yep.
he feels like that would be sufficient.
Gotcha.
Because right now what he's just using an old co-op spreader.
Okay.
Is what he's using, and he can hold, call it six tons,
Yeah.
roughly. So he can go out and spread 80 acres in one fill, no
Yep.
problem.
Yep.
So yeah, that's
But he still wants to do it in one pass.
right.
Is the goal.
Right.
Yep.
So we're
Being more efficient.
Yep. So he was looking to maybe get rid of that spreader, and then we would put a cedar on top of that thing.
Cool.
So
Yep. The planer jobs I think are going to keep rolling. I've got a small one to do over by Bellefontaine, Ohio. I know you've got a big one that needs done.
I got a big one here last week. A guy south of Muncie, Indiana. We're gonna put 360 tanks on for him, and Bandits, Waves, and then basically deck it all out. He's going to run 2 hydraulic pumps, one with a Raven 450, and then the other one with a Raven ISO.
Yep.
To run through his Pro 700, so that way he can variable rate with that. It'll be interesting.
Good.
It'll be quite the job. So we're putting wing tanks and a center mount tank on there, so it'll be pretty elaborate. But
Good.
I think he's going to try to do a lot of the labor himself. I think he's going to try to install the tanks, the Waves, and the Bandits himself.
Sure.
And then we're basically going to just take care of all the plumbing.
Nice.
So.
Well, good. That'll be a good job, and direct ship a lot of that stuff to him. Let him get it installed, and
Yep.
we can come in and get it wrapped up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the goal anyway. So he's wanting to confirm a few things with his case dealer, and before we go ahead and order it. So
Good. Yeah, a lot coming down the pike, and we'll be sure and get pictures and videos of all this stuff and get it recorded and put up on YouTube for you guys to see these projects as they go.
For sure.
So, well, that's what we've got going on today, and that's all I've got on the podcast. I appreciate everyone tuning in. We're getting ready to approach 10,000 overall listens on the podcast, so that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
We appreciate everyone that tunes in, and we need to do a better job at keeping it a consistent podcast so that you can rely on some episodes.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. I'm sure we'll do one at Fort Wayne Farm Show.
Yeah.
With some people.
Yep,
So
no doubt. All right, well, that's all I've got. Thanks for tuning in.
yep. Thanks, guys.